man, it's this one contradictory. Let me paint the picture for you, and then I want your thoughts. But my takeaway looking at all this past week is Texas, Washington, and FSU, point blank period, should just not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now, there's a scenario where all three of these teams do make the playoff, and there's a scenario where they're all deserving of a playoff spot. Deserving and the best team and being deserving is two different things to me. So my point with all this is look at all three of these teams, especially Florida State without Jordan Travis, unfortunately. But look at all three of these teams here and think about Ohio State, Bama, Georgia, Oregon, or Michigan playing head-to-head against any of these teams, mix and match however you want. Mm-hmm. Don't you think that they would get blown out in the first round of the playoffs?
Ooh.
And to add on that, I think, unfortunately, if you put the best four teams, because I know it's not going to happen this way as long as things play out like we think that they will, but if you're looking at having four solid playoff teams and having all good playoff games, because we know oftentimes playoff games are blowouts, if you're probably putting the best 4 to 5 in, you're putting the ones I just pretty much said. Maybe minus an Alabama, maybe minus Oregon if stuff goes sideways, but you're probably looking at Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and Oregon probably. And then Bama kind of on the outside looking in. I just don't think any of these teams will stand a chance in the first round of a playoff.
I'm sorry, but I think the only way Ohio State Michigan in your scenario makes it, they have to win this week. If they lose, they're done.
Well, it's not really about who makes it. It's just these three teams being able to compete in the playoff this year.
For me, as of right now, if everything goes away, I'm thinking, I'm going to have Ohio State, Georgia, not in any particular order, Alabama, and Oregon here.
Well, and if it works out like that, that's great. We'll get great playoff games. There's a scenario where Texas gets in. There's a scenario where Washington wins by 1 point in the Pac-12 championship, gets in and gets blown out. Florida State gets in by going undefeated in the regular season. If other teams slip up, get blown out first round in the playoff. So that's kind of what I'm saying.
Florida State, it just got even more harder with them with Jordan Travis out, as we talked about earlier on the show.
Yeah, that's the point. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's going to be hard for any of these three to win because Washington shows signs of them not being a playoff team. Look at that defense. You have Texas still struggling against teams they shouldn't. And then Florida State just had the injury of their best, not their best, Keenan Cole is, but a great player on that offense in Jordan Travis, the leader.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with this sentiment because we talked about it a little bit on the college football show. Like, Alabama beats Georgia, there's no way that Texas gets in. If Washington beats Oregon, there's no way they get in. If Oregon beats Washington, there's no way that they get in. If Florida State beats Louisville, there's definitely no way that that Texas is moving in. So. But let's go on the flip side. Is Florida State most likely going to lose? I think so. I think Louisville, we're going to lose.
I don't know. There's a scenario all three of these can get in, though. It's very possible.
I think the only one that's most likely.
Any other three.
Well, here's what I say. Who has the best chance of getting in? Washington. Other two, Texas is screwed because Alabama's playing Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Texas is screwed because Florida State's playing Louisville, a top 10 team. Who's Texas playing? A 2-loss Oklahoma?
Oklahoma. They're gonna play Oklahoma State in the championship if Oklahoma State wins this week.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma State's got what? 3 losses, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a good enough resume, so go ahead and count Texas out of here, unless something crazy happens. And I don't think that's going to happen. Washington and Florida State had the best chances, but then Washington has the best chance of getting in, but all of them have scenarios where they can avoid getting in too.
Exactly.
But who has the highest probability is Washington. Second, Florida State. Third, Texas. I just don't see a scenario where Texas even remotely gets close to being in.
Yeah. Do y'all agree with the sentiment though that these three teams would get blown out by those teams? I just
100%.
I'm gonna just go through the list right now. Let's just go through the top 10. Number 10, Louisville. Do they have a chance against any of these teams? I say yes. Missouri, yes. Alabama, absolutely.
They beat all of them probably.
They'll beat all of them.
So,
yeah. Oregon,
yes.
Yep. And then
we're gonna find out.
Michigan, Ohio State, and Georgia. Yes. They're not beating any of those teams. Just call it what it is.
But you know what I do like though? You know what I want to point out that I really do like? I hate it seeing Florida State go down just because of their quarterback situation, but having Washington at 4, then if Oregon does beat Washington, it's an even better win.
For Oregon,
Instead of beating a number 5, 6 team, you're beating a top 4 team. So,
well, yeah.
Yep.